everyone, this is River Navarro. I'm the Director of Clinical Services here at Bakersfield Behavioral Healthcare Hospital. I'd like to wish everyone a happy Mindfulness Monday, and I'd like to say hello to all of our Facebook family and friends. I want to talk to you today about mindful conversations. So let me tell you a little bit about what that is. Let me kind of review what mindfulness is. So mindfulness in a nutshell is being present in the moment with full awareness and without judgment. So that's all it is. It's being present in the moment, not judging anything. It is what it is, and being fully immersed in that moment. So the reason why I wanted to talk about mindful conversations is because so many times, at least, I'm probably speaking for myself, but I hope I'm speaking for you too. Sometimes it's easy to be very distracted. You know, we're constantly juggling a lot of things at the same time. You might be talking to someone and, be trying to do something on your phone or, your tablet or whatever. And a lot of times, at least I know myself, I'm having to multitask quite a bit. And it can be difficult to be mindful when you're having a conversation with someone. So for me here at work, my phone may be ringing. I might be in the middle of typing an email. Someone's walking into my office. There's a fire alarm going off. There might be a code being called. And all these things might be happening at the same exact time. And there may be a lot of things requiring your attention at the same time. So many of us, because we're so busy, we get so accustomed to constantly multitasking that sometimes we don't give our loved ones or our coworkers or even our clients, whoever it may be, they're not able to get the best of us and to get our full attention. So I want to kind of use this topic to help deepen or strengthen some of the relationships that you already have. The idea is to have mindful, deep conversations with the people around us as a way of, getting to know them better, getting to know yourself better, create more positive interactions and have overall better communication with other people. So this is especially some of the topics and things I'm going to bring up, I think would be very useful for even with people social distancing and quarantining and being home and all that. Some of these topics will be good to even discuss with your family members, people that you may live with, or if you have roommates, friends, if you're a parent and your child is living with you. Some of these topics might open up some interesting conversations as well, and open up some bonding, things like that. Another idea I had for some of the topics I'm going to share today is try discussing some of these topics in a Zoom meeting. If you're having a virtual meeting with your family, if you're not able to see them or for whatever reason right now, think about some of these topics and questions I'm going to ask, and you might be surprised, but also really interested in some of the responses that you get. Another idea I have is maybe try forming a family activity around some of these prompts and some of these questions, and also kind of see what happens, kind of like an experiment. So I'm going to start out with some mindful conversation topics that you might be able to discuss with your friends. And I'll kind of go through different types of people, your different relationships. We'll start with friends, then we'll go to parents, then we'll go to siblings, we'll go to significant others, kids, coworkers, so on and so forth, so that you can kind of get an idea of some interesting mindful conversation topics that you might be able to discuss with them. So friends, I just kind of picked out a couple of topics for each one that I just stuck out to me and I thought were interesting. You can always do a Google search and look up, mindful conversation topics. and find something to your liking or something that interests you. So you don't have to use my examples. These are just ones I thought were pretty cool, and I wanted to share them with you. So, friends. So this would be something you could ask your friend in a conversation. What do you look for and need in your friendships? I like this one because so many times in friendships we really don't talk about what we want or need. Or, your friend may be fulfilling some of your friendship needs that you have, but maybe you never tell them that, right? And they don't know. So I thought that one was pretty cool. This next one is awesome. When do you feel most authentically yourself? Love it. The last one. What is one form of self-expression you've been too hesitant to explore? Interesting. So we're going to move on to parents now. So these are mindful conversation topics you might be able to discuss with your parent. What do you miss most about being a child, a teenager, or my age? I love this one. I'm actually thinking of going home and asking my parents these questions just because, once I came across these topics, I thought it was very interesting, and I'm very curious to know what they would say. So, what was the first big purchase you made as an adult? Pretty cool. Moving on to siblings. I love this one. It's probably because I'm a foodie, but I love this one. What food reminds you most of home? Pretty interesting. This is another one. What's one of your favorite memories from our childhood? And I love this one because, siblings that grow up in the same home have a lot of shared experiences, even though they experience them differently. And you might be surprised to know that maybe some of your favorite things were theirs too, or maybe you just loved completely different things, and there might be things that your sibling really appreciated and was excited about that maybe you forgot about, or you're like, yeah, that was really cool. I had forgotten about that. And so I think these topics just really would prompt some really interesting conversations to occur. Moving on to significant others. What small joys bring light to your day? I love this one. The next one. What does alone time look like for you? And I really like this one a lot because so many people in relationships, the focus is always on, the relationship, which is great. So I don't want to discourage anyone from doing that. But there are times when people do need time to themselves, and there has to be a balance, I think, for, you need that personal time to recharge or to focus on maybe some of your own goals or, sit with your own thoughts, so on and so forth. And so I think that's a really interesting question if you're in a relationship and you want to ask your partner that, getting kind of an idea of what their needs might be versus what your own might be. And I love this one. How do you feel best supported in hard times? Love it. Because sometimes, people don't think of verbalizing these things like, hey, this is what I need. I'm struggling. Even myself as a therapist struggle sometimes expressing that to other people because, I'm afraid of getting all therapist on them. But, so I tend to shy away sometimes from that. Or sometimes we're afraid to ask people what we want because we're afraid they're not going to be agreeable to that, or maybe they're not going to know how to meet our needs. So I really like this one. I think you could really learn a lot about your partner by asking them that. Some really cool conversation topics for kids. What's your earliest memory? I love that one. Next one. What does a perfect day with the family look like? Love that one. You could form a whole activity just around that one question, so I really like that. If you're currently working, these would be some really cool things to talk about. What was your very first job? Interesting. You can really learn a lot about a person by knowing that. What projects are you working on right now that bring you joy? I really, really like this one. And then the last one is, how do you unwind after work? And this is a question clinically in my department we talk about all the time, because we're always talking about self-care and recharging and all of that. So oftentimes we have some pretty open conversations about, how are you taking care of yourself? How are you unwinding? How are you coping, right? Or how are you learning to let work go when you go home, right? So you can enjoy time with yourself and with your family. So like I said, you can do a simple Google search like I did and look up mindful conversation topics and really work on finding some different conversation topics you might want to have with other people as a way to deepen and strengthen your relationships, and really just practice being mindful all the time. So I hope you found this video useful, and I look forward to talking to you about mindfulness next week as well. Thanks everyone. Bye.